Ghana's new president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has pledged to cut taxes to boost the economy at his swearing-in ceremony on Saturday, and also promised to protect the public purse by getting value for money on services. Now, the major cocoa and gold exporter is halfway through a 3-year aid program with the International Monetary Fund to fix an economy dogged by high public debt and inflation. Ghanaians have high expectations of their next president. Let's watch this.
Ghana's former president, John Mahama, who stepped down as president on Saturday, said the country had recorded reduced cocoa export revenues and higher than expected election-related expenditures, part of reasons why Ghana had missed a deficit target for the year, but that it was important that the country remains on track with a 3-year International Monetary Fund aid deal. The country is emerging from a fiscal crisis of elevated inflation and debt under the supervision of an International Monetary Fund program. But new oil and gas is set to come on stream in 2017 and 2018 from a $7.9 billion offshore field being developed by Italy's ANI, which the government says will boost revenue and aid long-standing domestic power problems.
The construction of roads, schools, hospitals is a normal government job. So that one we don't need to be bothered about it. It's a normal government job. So schools and hospitals and whatnot will be constructed. But the exceptional thing, what will make you the president exceptional, is the thinking out of the box and bringing new things like these social interventions.
Akufo-Addo defeated President John Mahama by 53.8% to 44.4% in a broadly accepted victory. In a bid to kickstart growth, the NPP says it will create jobs, build a dam in every village and a factory in every district, and give each constituency the equivalent of $1 million per year to pursue development projects. Analysts say that the new government will have to enforce fiscal discipline and deliver on election promises, or face the same voter backlash Mahama faced in 3 years.
When we overshoot our targets, our indicators, we are sending the wrong signal to the international community that we are not credible, because we have agreed with the IMF, for instance, that we'll be hitting 5.5% of GDP. That is the deficit. So if we are talking about 6%, 7%, we are way off. I mean, it's always good to forecast, and if you are off your target by some marginal figures, but if it's 5.5 and you are hitting 7%, it tells you you are losing credibility.
The NPP has inherited an economy from Mahama's National Democratic Congress that for years was rated one of Africa's most dynamic, but has slowed sharply since 2014.
The cost of living in Ghana currently is a little high because a lot of utility bills are high, electricity, water, rent is also very high. So, I mean, compared to previous years, we can say that it's a little high.
Akufo-Addo served as Foreign Minister and Attorney General in the previous NPP government that ruled between 2001 and 2009. The 72-year-old twice previously lost close battles for the presidency.
Concerns, however, remains on how the new president will be able to cut taxes and still stick to an IMF austerity plan that was a condition of a $980 million bailout. Let's bring in the head economic research at Ecobank International Group London, Gaimin Nonyane, to share her views with us. Good afternoon, Gaimin.
Hi, good afternoon.
Now, the new Ghanaian president, Akufo-Addo, says one of his economic strategies is cutting taxes. How feasible is this in a country that is trying to ramp up revenue and also keep to the IMF bailout agreement?
Well, the details of that are still a bit sketchy. So it's until he actually comes up with a plan, it's unlikely, we can't really assess how he's going to do that. But what I know from our opinion is that Ghana is currently facing major revenue challenges, And at this point in time, it is unlikely that there will be any tax cuts in the next 12 months in the short term. The country faces high debt levels, close to a peak level of about 70% of GDP. State-owned enterprises in the energy sector are facing major financial stresses, and as a result of that, they have to be loans have had to be restructured, and some of them are still undergoing restructuring. And although Ghana is expected to have higher foreign exchange inflows this year from higher oil production and higher oil prices, the country will continue to face major revenue constraints. And this is why we're seeing very high treasury bill yields in the capital markets. Although they've been falling in recent months, but the yields remain very high, which is an indication that government spending remains high and government borrowing remains high, and the revenue collection is unable to meet such needs.
Right. Expectations seem to be really high for the new president, especially because his party's policies are more business-friendly. Now, from an economist's point of view, looking at the present state of Ghana's economy, what do you think should be the primary focus of the new president in his first year in office?
Well, I think Ghana's turned the corner from the downward trajectory it was undergoing in the past, two years ago, in 2014-15. And so I think the main aim is to try to strengthen the recovery. It turned the corner, but it's not yet out of the woods. Ghana is still not yet out of the woods. It's still facing major imbalances. So the government should now be looking to strengthen the recovery by trying to reduce prioritizing the spending pattern, making sure that it reduces costs of spending on non-essentials and focus on essentials, and then try to boost revenue collection by expanding or broadening the revenue base. The tax cut is a good thing over time because it will help to attract investment into your country, and at the same time, it will help to increase revenue. But I think in the short term, I don't think Ghana is there yet for it to start cutting taxes. I think it just needs to strengthen the recovery by trying to increase the revenue collection, strengthen compliance, tax compliance, and reducing spending on non-essentials.
Now, just a quick one, Gaimin, looking at the cabinet formation, an economist and former central bank governor was sworn in as the vice president. There are also some indication that Mr. Akufo-Addo is likely to name an investment banker as finance minister. Do you see this team pushing Ghana's economy out of its present quagmire?
No, I think it's a good thing. I think in terms of the monetary policy, I think it will continue to remain tight, and I think the candidates that he's chosen, well, I mean, I'd expect them to continue to adopt a tight policy in line with everything else that's going on in the economy to try to maintain price stability as well as exchange rate stability. So I think that it is a good thing.
Right, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us, Gaimin. Gaimin Nonyane is the head economic research at Ecobank International Group, London. And we wrap up the program in South Africa, where the net foreign reserves fell to $40.809 billion in December from $41.077 billion in November. Our data from the Reserve Bank shows gross reserves rose to $47.356 billion from $47.043 billion. The forward position, which represents the central bank's unsettled or swap transactions, fell to $1.771 billion in December from $2.412 billion in the previous month. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimizi Obiwa. We'll have a good afternoon.